So this is a very polarized time. I believe 4 billion people across the world are casting votes in over 50 elections. So there's going to be a lot of flux in leadership, including in our country. There's no getting around the fact that this is indeed a very high stakes election. But no matter the outcome, we feel that our collective engagement in the public policy sphere is very important. So you mentioned, Laurie, that we are indeed, the Alliance operates as a nonpartisan organization. We have a long history of working across the aisle to advance impact investing priorities and principles. We have had the long standing contention that these principles have broad bipartisan appeal. And we feel that as a field building organization, this kind of work, irrespective of who is president, must be advanced. So some of you may have heard this story before, but I relocated back to New York to start the U.S. Impact Investing Alliance. And my first day at the Ford Foundation was October 31st, 2016. I should say that Ford and Darren Walker, president of Ford Foundation, incubated the Alliance for 4 years, even while we were also incubating the Tipping Point Fund. And so I knew a large portion of our remit would be federal public policy. And I relocated having a certain presumption about who the winner would be. And that did not bear out. And we operated for all 4 years of the Trump administration and found opportunities for progress. We have done the same throughout the Biden administration. And in some ways, while during the Trump administration, there weren't that many folks from our field doing work in Washington or doing as much work as we thought was important to do. Under the Biden administration, it's almost the opposite. Everybody's interested in public policy because we have a very open door to engage with the Biden administration, the various agencies, et cetera. And so in response to that, we co-founded with B-Lab, the Coalition on Inclusive Economic Growth, to try to harness the power of over 60 impact business and impact investing entities to have a single voice or more unified voice with the Biden administration. But in both cases, under the Trump administration and the Biden administration, we have sought to advance our ideas and our principles and our policies. And we have also pushed back when we didn't agree with policies being pursued, if we didn't agree with the administration. I would say that operating in a bipartisan manner does not mean sacrificing on the basic principles that we feel should transcend politics. Those are principles of democracy, of transparency, accountability, fairness, and equity. We still believe that these are universal principles. And we always seek to find champions across the political spectrum to achieve our objectives. I think that each institution, each investor will need to determine their own comfort level and risk tolerance in engaging with the federal government depending on the outcomes. But we feel that the stakes are too high to ignore public policy altogether. We cannot lean out. We must continue to lean in on public policy, irrespective of electoral outcomes.